All right, what's up, guys? We are live here, live on YouTube, live on X, going across social media. We're going to go over the sports slate, try to get in and out as quick as possible. Obviously, when I do these lives, they end up being a little bit longer than I usually like, but I'm going to try to talk about pretty much every game here. So let's get started. We got about an hour, I think, in a bit till the first game starts. So don't want to waste anybody's time. I'm just making sure we're live here. Looks like we're up. On X, I posted some plays that I've bet, but let's talk about the first game. Let's go to. All right. So Blue Jays Tigers first game on the slate here starts in an hour and 10 minutes, and then the next game doesn't start for an hour and 40 minutes. So this is the first game. As far as the side goes, I don't really love either one of these ones right now. What was the win yesterday? Tigers won 6-2, I think it was. I'm going back to the Nerfy in this one. I already posted it. I mean, Brios 3-3 as a Nerfy, 7-3 overall. Olsen perfect 9-0. So as long as Brios can hold us in this, I'm going to keep riding this Tigers Blue Jays Nerfy because these two teams, Blue Jays 22-4 overall on the road, a record with a 42-8 overall record. So 84% of their games they have not scored in the first inning, and then Detroit 21-4. Where's the? I must have missed the. Had the numbers, but I must have moved them somehow. Well, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that much. Let's see. Detroit overall 37-14. Must have missed that for some reason, but so anyways, yeah. So I'm gonna keep riding that. A little bit of early action, hopefully 6 quick outs. But yeah, on this side, Tigers, Blue Jays. Blue Jays are hitting better versus righties over the last 5 games, hitting 286. Tigers are struggling, hitting 205. The first game, the Jays won 9-1. Second game, we seen yesterday, the Tigers won 6-2. Tigers are still 11-14 at home. Blue Jays 11-15 on the road. Like, I don't know. They're just the thing with this is the Tigers don't seem to win when Reese Olson starts. They've won one game out of his 9 starts. So whereas the Blue Jays 7-3 and Jose Barrios starts. So kind of lean to the Blue Jays here, but not my favorite side for a game. Looking at like a couple of the computer models I got, some of them are leaning to the Tigers and the under, but maybe the under's in play. The under's a good look if we're gonna, with the Nerfy that just plays in. Sometimes you can get Nerfies for 3, 4, 5 innings, just pitcher's duel. But that's kind of all I got for that one. Don't really have any player props or anything that I was looking at. As far as the weather goes, it looks like 10 mile an hour kind of crosswind, 70-degree temperatures. Hopefully that helps keep the ball down a little bit as for the Nerfy sake. But yeah, that's all I got for this game. All right, the Giants and the Mets. Giants have been kind of rolling along lately. They're just got to 50-50. The Mets have been struggling, and now the Mets come into this one a big favorite. Yesterday, the Giants did hit a grand slam, so take that for what it was. But the Giants seem to keep coming back and finding ways to win, and the Mets seem to be finding ways to lose. So I don't know. The Giants were down by 6-2. I think it was in the 8th inning, and then what was it? It was Matt Chapman, I think it was, or no, it was Bailey. I think they hit the grand slam, but. Anyway, so the Giants have won 6 of the last 10 meetings. Giants have won 7 of their last 10 games, whereas the Mets have lost 8 of their last 10. So Mets are just in a slump. They've lost 4 straight games. Like I said, 8 of their last 10. Jordan Hicks going. He's giving up home runs in back-to-back starts, but he's limiting runs given up. He usually only goes about 5 innings. So with this Giants bullpen, they have been pretty taxed lately. over the last 2 weeks, 3.59 ERA, 29.2% strikeout rate. Obviously, the Mets don't have a huge strikeout rate, but that's not terrible. Whereas the Mets here, 5.87 ERA over the last 2 weeks in their bullpen. So we've seen Edwin Diaz blowing saves and stuff here. I mean, I would rather take the Giants plus 1.5 before I laid any juice with the Mets. But for me, the value is obviously on the Giants here. I just don't love the idea of the Giants bullpen being so used with not having any days off. That is the only downside. But both these teams hitting about 270 versus right-handed pitchers lately. So over the last 5 games. So it could be another close game. Wouldn't surprise me to see a 1-run game here. Let's see. There was a streak that I found here. Where is it? The Mets failed to cover the run line at Citi Field 7 straight times. So that kind of lines up with the Giants plus 1.5. Obviously, you're laying heavy juice on that, so I don't love that. That would be if I was going to use that as a parlay piece, but I don't love this game either. Let's see the weather's doing. Looks like we got about a 8 to 10 mile an hour wind kind of blowing out to left center, 75 to 80 degree temperatures, low humidity. So Citi Field, generally not a huge home run park, but I don't mind Matt Chapman potentially to hit a home run here. If I was going to look at anybody on the other side, maybe Pete Alonso. The Mets just aren't really doing a whole lot at the plate lately, but let's see, Hicks. All right, so both these pitchers, the Mets and the Giants pitchers, 54 to 55% ground ball rate on the season. Hicks only has a 17.4% fly ball rate, whereas Severino 23.6. Both giving up less than one home run per 9 innings. So 39.9% hard hit and 38.5% hard hit. So pretty decent numbers actually for the pitchers. Both have a pretty low ERAs. So yeah, it's kind of hard to find any good home run hitters in this one. So I don't really love this game. Like I said, I just can't lay juice with the Mets right now. They're just not a team that I'm going to lay any juice with, having lost 8 of their last 10 games. So yeah, it would be Giants for me or pass. Probably the latter here. But I did play Matt Chapman in a parlay to hit a home run, but obviously that's just a long shot one. But I did put him in one. Let's see. And then I got Luis Matos under to not strike out in this game. So he's been pretty solid when it comes to not striking out. So as long as he can do that. Yesterday it was at plus money. Now it's a pick 'em. So it's minus 115 for the over, minus 115 for the under. So yesterday I think I got it at, how was it? Plus 105 it was yesterday. So it's already moved 20 points. So I'm on him again. I posted that one on X, but let's move on to the next game here. Want to try to get this done before the first pitch starts, give out some parlays or something here. We'll try to talk about all the games, and then we'll go to the Oilers game at the end, I think. All right, Rangers Twins here. Rangers just not playing good lately. Man, for the World Series champs, they're just getting absolutely obliterated right now. Not a profitable team at all, obviously, being 24 and 28 on the season. You're down major units if you're betting on this team. Today they are plus money. The Twins have won 6 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams. Texas comes in this one losing 8 of their last 10 games, including 5 straight and 6 of their last 7. So they're not putting up a lot of runs. Like, they've scored 2 runs or less in 4 of their last 5 games. The most they've scored in the last 5-game losing streak is 4 runs. So, and in their last, let's see, 1, 2, they haven't scored more than 4 runs in 10 straight games. So yeah, they're just not putting up offensive numbers like we're used to this team doing. Twins on the other side, not doing crazy numbers offensively on their own either, other than that 10-0 win at Washington the other day. They're not scoring a ton of runs either. 7-10. 7 of their last 10 games have went under. They've also lost 7 of the last 10 games too. So two teams that are not in the greatest form. Michael Lorenzen going here. Not my favorite pitcher. He's got a 3.61 ERA on the season. Only a 19.6% strikeout rate, 12.5% walk rate. So 44.6% ground ball rate. So it's pretty well about league average. Both these pitchers giving up about just over a home run per 9 innings, 40% hard hit and 41% hard hit rate. So Chris Paddock, 4.47 ERA, 21.1% strikeout rate, 40.6% ground ball rate. So he's more of a line drive pitcher for the most part. But yeah, like I said, he gives out 1.4 home runs per 9. So Lorenzen's last 2 starts, he hasn't given up a home run. He's got 10 strikeouts in 13 1/3 innings. And Paddock has given up home runs in 3 straight starts. Honestly, I kind of would lean to the Rangers, but I just because you're getting plus money with them. But this seems like a coin flip game, really, to me. So it's one of those ones where it's like the Twins at home. I don't trust this Rangers bullpen. That's the one issue I have here with Texas is 6.17 ERA over the last 2 weeks. So their bullpen has been just horrendous. And then them not offensively doing a lot. I do have Jonah Heim for under to not strike out. I was at plus 15 or plus 115. He was plus 130 yesterday, and he hit that yesterday. So he's now plus 115 or plus 105, I think. Plus 115 for him not to strike out. So that's the one I was looking at. Like I said, Nick Pivetta or Chris Paddock only has about a 21% strikeout rate. So good numbers there. Yeah. I don't know how anybody, like, both these teams not in good form. The Rangers at plus money is definitely enticing, but I don't know, man. It's one of those games where it's like this is just a bad one. The Rangers just can't seem to get anything going. I was looking at Corey Seager potentially for a home run again. He seems to be doing all right, but and if you're gonna look on the other side, as far as like looking at anybody from the Twins side to hit home runs, Ryan Jeffers is kind of my go-to guy. He wasn't in the lineup yesterday, but he does hit well versus righties. He's got 8 home runs, batting .262 versus right-handed pitching, so I don't mind him. Carlos Santana, but he's not having the best average, but he does have 2 home runs versus Lorenzen in 11 at-bats in his career. And then Byron Buxton, potentially a guy too, but 2 teams that aren't really hitting a ton here. All right, Capo's got 5 games here. Honestly, don't mind some of them. It's pretty fading the Braves isn't bad. I could see the Brewers getting it done again. I had the Red Sox yesterday. They were absolutely terrible. So I don't mind a couple of those. And the Detroit game was 50-50 to me, like I said. So that one could go either way. Don't mind Detroit either there. All right, Orioles, White Sox. Okay, so it looks like it should be Albert Suarez going. He's 25.1 innings pitched, 1.78 ERA this season, 21% strikeout rate, 37.5% ground ball rate, so that's very low. He's got a 31, almost 32% fly ball rate, so definitely not the greatest as far as that goes, but below league average when it comes to ground ball rate. That's considered not the greatest, but he has a 0.4 home runs per 9, whereas Eric Fedde on the other side, 1.2 home runs per 9 innings he's giving up this season. He's got 58 innings pitched, 3.10 ERA, 22% strikeout rate. So nothing spectacular, but 44% ground ball rate, not terrible. 7.1% barrel rate. He hasn't been terrible on the season, I'll say that. He came obviously was playing Korea last season, so he wasn't in the majors last year, but he was the MVP in Korea, the Korean Baseball League. Orioles have won 7 of the last 10 games here. Both games, the White Sox could have won the first game potentially or kept it within at least a run, but both games have been won just by 2 runs. So the White Sox are putting up runs here. They're being somewhat competitive, and their bullpen has been pretty good lately. Over the last 2 weeks, only have a 2.44 ERA, so only allowing opponents to hit 172 off them. So that's not terrible, really. They're keeping games somewhat competitive for being one of the worst teams in baseball. And they did lose Eloy Jimenez to injury too. So they've just been they've had issues with injuries all season. Just some bad luck, and then obviously just being the White Sox, just not a high market team really. The O's on the other side, 4.05 ERA over the last 2 weeks. As far as their bullpen goes, I mean, you're seeing Baltimore as big favorites, and it's not really a shock. But I don't know, man. Like, I think the White Sox could potentially get one in this series, but plus 150-ish for the White Sox. I don't mind taking the White Sox plus 1.5, but I don't know. It is kind of tough. I'm hoping Eric Fedde has a good outing. He's kind of been so. His last 2 starts, though, he hasn't given up a home run. One of them was to the Nationals, so somewhat not huge home run hitting team. And then the Guardians, still not a huge home run hitting team. But his last 2 starts, no earned runs, no runs allowed, 9 strikeouts in 13 innings. So not exactly his strikeout numbers you want, but he didn't give up any walks, so which is good. He's got 4 wins in his last 5 starts. So this could be the one. If the White Sox do snag one, it could be this game, honestly. So I don't mind taking a look at the White Sox. I don't love it just because it is the White Sox, obviously, but man, they just seem to get one. They seem to get a game here and there. So they're not a huge team to find value on. Obviously, they're a losing team if you're betting on them consistently, but they still have won 3 games in their last 10. So they get one here and there. Baltimore's 5-5 in their last 10 games. So it's not like Baltimore's cruising along, really. They are somewhat just average, really, right now. All right, so White Sox are hitting 240 over the last 5 games. The Orioles do struggle versus right-handed pitching, especially on the road. They typically hit better versus lefties, but yeah, I mean, I'd lean to the White Sox plus 1.5. I just as like minimal. You're basically not really paying any juice on that. You could look at the White Sox first 5 plus a half, maybe just to take the bullpens out of it. But the White Sox, like I said, their bullpen hasn't been terrible lately, so they could potentially get this one within 1 run late. Yeah, with both first games being 2-run games, it's almost worth it to look at the White Sox plus 1.5. Even the White Sox money line. Like I said, if they're going to get one, it might be this game. So not a huge play for me if I was going to play that, but it's kind of hard to trust the White Sox, but that's kind of what I'm leaning to at right now. Suarez also, his last outing versus the A's, only went 4 innings. He gave up 4 runs, a home run. So he's kind of hit and miss sometimes. Like he can go 4 to 5 innings and get no earned runs and get 4 to 5 strikeouts, or he can give up hits and home runs. So you don't really know what you're going to get with him. Sometimes he's kind of a hit and miss guy. So yeah, White Sox, lean to the White Sox plus 1.5. All right, Mariners Nationals. Yesterday I was on the Nationals. They ended up getting it done 6-1, I think it was. Now you got Logan Gilbert, Trevor Williams here. Yesterday, I had the Murphy in this game as well. Unfortunately, J.P. Crawford hit a leadoff home run. I was not expecting that. If anything, I thought it would be Kyle Riley if they got to the fourth batter in the first inning that would hit one. Definitely wasn't expecting it to be Crawford, but all right. These two teams head to head, 5-5 in the last 10. 7 of the last 10 games have went under. Nationals have lost 7 of the last 10 games. Mariners have lost 6 of their last 10 games. So two teams obviously not in the greatest of form right now. Logan Gilbert, he's given up 3 earned runs in back-to-back starts. He did face the Yankees and the Royals. So, I mean, obviously two pretty good hitting teams, right? And then he gave up 8 runs versus the Twins in 4 innings back in the first week of May. He's given up home runs in 2 of his last 3 starts. So it depends what Logan Gilbert you're going to get in this one. Trevor Williams on the other side, the Nationals usually seem to win his starts. He did kind of get roughed up his last outing, 4 1/3 innings, 3 earned runs, only 3 strikeouts, no home run, but he's limited walks. That's one thing he has done this season. 2.35 ERA overall on the season. His fastball velocity is down, which is kind of concerning a little bit, and his strikeout numbers aren't as high as I would like to see them. Pretty just above average when it comes to ground ball rate. Somewhat low fly ball rate, 0.2 home runs per 9. Definitely what you want to see if you're backing a pitcher. Not what you want to see if you're trying to play home run props, obviously. But he's limiting hard hit. He's only got a 5.3% barrel rate. Like I said, not giving up a ton of home runs. On the other side, Gilbert, about a home run per 9 innings, only a 5.6 barrel rate. So wouldn't shock me to see this be a somewhat lower scoring game again. I'm actually going to lean to the Nationals once again today. The Mariners, their offense is so-so, and they're a huge favorite here. So just out of principle, I have to take the Nationals. You could take them plus 1.5, just in case this is like a 3-2, 4-3 type game. But yeah, I just don't really want to lay a huge price with the Mariners. It just doesn't seem the smartest of plays. I mean, Trevor Williams could regress, and I mean, obviously that's imminent. let's look at his expected numbers. Oh, great. My friggin' voice is starting to go perfect. His expected ERA is 3.33, so it's not like he's pitching too far out of his realm right now. Like I said, my only concern with him is his fastball velocity is down. So other than that, he's not doing terrible. So yeah, I would lean to the Nationals here, plus 1.5 if you want to have a little bit of an insurance there. But Nationals money line for me, or I would just pass on this game. I am looking at the Murphy here. Let's see. We got Logan Gilbert, who is 8-2 on the season, no run first inning, and Trevor Williams 7-2. So not terrible Murphy numbers. Seattle, still one of the top Murphy teams, 21-6 on the road, 8-2 of their last 10. Nationals 18-3, no run first inning at home, 9-1 in their last 10. So I would take the Murphy here. This will be a bet for me. So I got the Blue Jays Murphy, the Mariners Nationals Murphy. Burned me yesterday, but I'm hoping I'm hoping for a pitcher's duel in this game for 5 innings at least. So, and then that's about it. So give me the Murphy and the Nationals Mariners. Like I said, I lean to the Nationals plus 1.5, but I don't know for sure if I'm going to be betting it yet or not. All right, Braves Pirates. Man, fading the Braves has been profitable because they're huge favorites a lot of the time because they're the Braves. Let's see what was yesterday's game. It was a blowout. I'm pretty sure the Pirates won 11-5 or something. So these two teams head to head. Pittsburgh has won 4, so 6 of the last 10 have won by the Braves. Pirates are 5-5 in their last 10 games. 7 of their last 10 games actually have been overs. This Pirates bullpen is pretty bad. We've seen it with the San Francisco series. Man, they couldn't hold a lead. 5-run leads getting blown all over the place. I had them on one of my books, the main book that I like to use the most. And they did pay it out, thankfully, on both the times that I had them when they blew it, but because they were up 5. But still, that's on the other books, they all lost, obviously. So Braves have lost 6 of the last 10 games. 6 of the last 10 have been unders as well, and it's due to their offense just not really showing up. You get like Marcelo Zuna is kind of their offense. I think Acuna hit a home run yesterday, but Reynaldo Lopez 1.54 ERA on the season, and then Mitch Keller 3.84 ERA. He has pitched 61 innings. His expected numbers a little worse than his actual numbers, about an ERA higher. So he's kind of what the numbers say is he's pitching above expected right now. His last 3 starts, he's only given up 2 earned runs or less. He did pitch a complete game versus the Angels, 9 innings, giving up 1 earned run, only having 5 strikeouts though. So his strikeout numbers, not the highest. He did get 7 strikeouts in 6 innings versus the Brewers. The Brewers can definitely strike out a lot. He's getting into the high pitch counts, but his last 2 starts haven't been terrible. Lopez, 3 straight starts without giving up a home run. He's got 2 earned runs or less in his last 3 starts as well. He's been pretty good at limiting damage, so this one's a tough one for me, really. But the Pirates hitting 259 versus righties, Braves hitting 229 versus righties over the last week. So Pirates are hitting a little bit better, but like I said, my only concern is the Pirates bullpen. It's just so bad. 6.80 ERA over the last 2 weeks, whereas the Braves 3.57 ERA, so pretty average. Braves bullpen giving up like about 1.19 home runs per 9 innings, whereas the Pirates 1.32 home runs per 9 innings. So 49.1% fly ball rate. So definitely not the greatest when it comes to their bullpen. This game could get rained out. Honestly, it could see a rain delay. I'm seeing rain in the forecast coming into Pittsburgh this afternoon. So this one could get delayed. If it gets delayed, I don't like it as much with games like this, but I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to get behind the Braves as big favorites right now. This game is just, I'm avoiding it, honestly. There's no way I'm playing the Braves with the way that they've been playing or lack thereof. And the Pirates, I just don't trust their bullpen enough after watching those games with the Giants. I can't trust their bullpen. So you could take Pirates maybe first 5 innings, and then you don't have to worry about the bullpen. But it wouldn't shock me to see this kind of be close through 5 innings if these pitchers are pitching like they have been. So, yeah, I would go Pirates first 5 plus a half, or just avoid this game because, like I said, we could see some rain issues. So, Pirates first 5 plus a half for me, or avoid it. If you play the first 5 innings and the game come the 6th inning gets rain, then at least you don't have to worry about getting voided or losing or having to wait out the play. So that is the one thing. The rain does look like it's going to be coming in about an hour, maybe an hour and a half after first pitch. It looks like it's coming in a little bit higher, so it does show chances of rain already. So I'm not looking on the weather network, but I can check. But that is the only game that I've seen of the day that looked like it was going to have issues. Okay, so next game is the Astros. Let's just go. Need a water break anyway. All right, don't forget to drop your picks in the comments. Try to get to them, questions, anything you got. And don't forget to like this video, whatever platform you're on. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube. Try to do live streams just kind of when I have time to. Yeah, that's kind of it. Let's go to the Astros Athletics game. You got Spencer Arrighetti going here, 7.16 ERA over 32.2 innings. His expected ERA is 4.74, so he did get a little bit unlucky. He had a bad start, so that does have something to do with it. Yesterday, the Astros won 6-3. Astros have won 7 of the last 10 meetings. Oakland losing 8 of their last 10 games. Spencer Getty giving up 4 earned runs his last start to the Brewers, 6 1/3 innings, and then he gave up 3 home runs that one start versus the Yankees, where he gave up 5 runs in 5 innings. So he's kind of been getting hit. He gets an easier opponent in the Athletics here. Obviously, a team that typically doesn't score a ton. I mean, they did put up 10 runs the other day, but other than that, they usually score 3 to 4 runs on average. So they're not a huge power hitting team, obviously. So JP Sears, the lefty, going. He's kind of been alternating good starts with bad starts lately after a pretty decent start to the season. He's got a 4.31 ERA, 4.59 expected. So he's pretty much pitching right around where he's expected to be pitching. His K rate's down 17.3%. So not exactly the greatest of numbers. Both these pitchers have given up about a home run per 9 innings. JP Sears has a 9% barrel rate, whereas Eric Getty 4% barrel rate. So I don't know. Obviously, Pitchers Park. It's a Pitchers Park here in Oakland. Looks like we got some cooler temperatures today too. Wind is still blowing out, but it doesn't affect it as much. It does. I mean, obviously, when the ball's in the air outside of the stadium walls, it does affect it. But for the most part, it still is a Pitchers Park. This game, I mean, I can't take Oakland here as much as I would like to with JP Sears. I wouldn't shock me to see him give up 4 runs again. So, and he's not getting strikeouts. The Astros don't typically strike out a lot, so I think he's potentially going to be in trouble here. As far as like a home run hitter or something like that, obviously Kyle Tucker is deadly. He's got 5 home runs, batting .250 versus left-handed pitching. And then Yordan Alvarez, of course, batting .356 versus lefties this season with 3 home runs. Altuve, 2 home runs, batting .267. Jeremy Pena, 2 home runs, batting .350. Pena doesn't strike out a ton. Bregman has a pretty low strikeout rate versus lefties, but his average just isn't the greatest this season. He does have 2 home runs versus JP Sears in 11 career at-bats. And then Kyle Tucker has 2 home runs in 13 at-bats, batting .308 versus him. So Kyle Tucker, I don't mind. I did put him in. Obviously, Kyle and Yordan are the 2 go-to guys for this team. But Kyle Tucker's just been in the better form, hitting more consistently as far as home runs go. So I would look at Kyle Tucker. You're getting a little bit better number with Kyle Tucker, too. I think I've seen him around plus 400 or maybe a little bit better. But like I said, obviously Oakland's not a huge home run park, but you like sure to get a home run. I don't know. Let's see. Home run in the first 4 games. So honestly, it is tough. Like obviously, home runs you're getting only 4 at bats usually per player. You wanted to look somewhere. I mean, I don't mind that Texas-Minnesota game. Hopefully, there's more offense there, but you want to find a pitcher that has gives up the barrels. So Chris Paddock can definitely get hit. So maybe like a Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia type one on that one. I could also see maybe like a guy like Kerry Carpenter in the cleanup spot hitting one for the Tigers. Lefty on Jose Barrios. Barrios 1.3 home runs per 9. So maybe a little bit later in that one, you could see a guy like that hit Kerry Carpenter at a big plus price. Obviously, like I said, I do have the Nerfy in that one. I'm not loving a lot of the weather as far for today, like not any huge boosts, but I don't really have any for sure's in the first game. I'm going to tell you that. Like I don't know. I don't really like a lot of them, but let's see. I did take Adolis Garcia in the Rangers game, and then I took Corey Seager in one other one too. and then Kyle Tucker. So I didn't play any home run props in the Tigers Jays game, but both those sides, if I'm going to look at somebody on the Blue Jays, it's either Dalton Varsho or maybe Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And then, like I said, for the Tigers, don't mind Kerry Carpenter. All his home runs have come versus right-handed pitching. He's got a 304 average. He's hitting in the cleanup spot. Riley Green was on fire there for a while, but he's kind of cooled off. But he also has 7 home runs with batting 254 versus righties. So don't mind one of those two guys. I don't mind Kerry Carpenter in the cleanup spot though. And then Mark Canha does have has a 1 home run versus Jose Barrios in his career, but he usually hits lefties a little bit better. So yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. Like I said, in case if it is a pitcher's duel, you don't get a lot of chances at it if that's what happens. But and then in the Mets Giants game, I was looking at Matt Chapman on the Giants and then potentially Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso can definitely hit bombs. We know that, but he's just hasn't been hitting a ton this season. So yeah. Let's see. Sometimes it is better to play like RBIs instead of home runs because you can still get it without them having to leave the yard, or you can get it with them hitting a 2-run shot too. So sometimes you get just as good odds on that. Let's see. Obviously, you want to try to target guys that are in the lineup, usually in a 3 spot. You don't really want to go with a leadoff hitter if you're betting RBIs, just because the first, like they would have to hit 2 solo home runs, or they would have to have the bottom of the lineup on base before. So, yeah, when you're looking at RBIs, you usually want to go with somebody at least in the 2 to 3 spots, so you potentially have a guy in front of them in case they do hit a home run too, or whatever. But Pete Alonso only has an RBI, and he had 2 RBIs yesterday. So I could make the case for Pete Alonso to get 2 RBIs today, especially versus a righty. Jordan Hicks. I mean, two pitchers that do have pretty high ground ball rates and low home run rates. That is the only thing. Yeah, even like the Baltimore White Sox game, in case that one, if I don't know, we've seen 2 high scoring games, so it is definitely has potential. But sometimes guys like Paul DeYoung hitting lower in the lineup, he's had 2 RBI games. 2 of his last 5, he's had 2 RBIs. So he just had 2 RBIs yesterday. So, and he usually hits lower in the lineup too. So sometimes a guy like that. And then obviously Gunnar Henderson, if he hits a home run again, he hit a 2-run home run, I think yesterday. Cheers, man. Yeah, I try. I mean, obviously home runs are really tough, but trying to hit some. Don't want to just be throwing stuff at the wall with no purpose. So yeah, let's keep it going here. Colin Rea going for the Brewers just has an ERA just over 4. His expected numbers are even worse, 5.59 expected ERA. So he's actually been, based on analytics, been pitching above where he's expected to. Nick Pivetta on the other side, 3.04 ERA, 3.48 expected numbers. So he's pitching pretty well in his realm. 0.82 WHIP. He's actually been pretty good. Colin Rea is not my favorite pitcher in this Brewers team as far as their starting rotation, but the Brewers have won 6 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams. They did win 7-2. I wasn't expecting that, honestly. Red Sox just been kind of inconsistent. Both teams have won 5 of their last 10 games, so they're both 50-50 in their last 10 games. Brewers 17-12 are on the road. Red Sox 10-14 at home. I do think Pivetta is the much better pitcher in this matchup here. His last 2 starts, he's got 16 strikeouts in 11 and 2/3 innings, only giving up 3 earned runs. And those all 3 of those earned runs came from home runs. So he's been giving up solo home runs pretty well. So William Contreras, definitely a guy you got to watch out for in this Brewers lineup. The wind looks like it's somewhat blowing out. It still should be a fairly nice afternoon at Fenway. Total set at 9.5 to 10, depending on where you're at, what books you're at. So we could see some home runs in here. I was going to look at Tyler O'Neill, Rafael Devers for me on the Red Sox. Obviously, always dangerous. And then, like I said, with the Brewers, William Contreras, we seen him yesterday hit a home run. He's got 7 home runs versus righties, batting .340. Nick Pivetta, like I said, he can definitely get hit and give up home runs. Usually a mistake pitch ends up being a home run. This season, he's got a 2.4 home runs per 9. Colin Rea, 1.3 home runs per 9. Pretty high barrel rates for both of them. Rey's 8%, Pivetta 12%. So they're getting barreled up. They're giving up hard contact. Devers has 10 home runs versus right-handed pitching this season, batting .298. Willie Abreu, 5 home runs, batting .286. And then Tyler O'Neill, 8 home runs, batting .215. So Devers is their hottest hitter versus a righty as far as average and home runs go. Tyler O'Neill can strike out a lot. That's his issue usually, is he does hit so much for power that he sometimes just, like he whiffs pretty bad. But what the hell? Why is it showing? He started yesterday. Just make sure your pitchers are the same here. I don't know. The Brewers have been doing weird stuff with their lineups, but I could see this one being a higher scoring game. Hopefully the Red Sox put up more than 2. If I was going to take a side in this one, man, I kind of do trust the Brewers a little bit more at plus money, but I'm still kind of hurting from them costing me a huge parlay. And usually when Colin Rea pitches, he's just not the greatest. Like, he's given up 5 earned runs in his last start to the Astros, 3 earned runs to the Pirates. They lost both those games. And then he gave up 4 earned runs to the Royals, and they just barely won that game. So that's the only concern with that, is he's just giving up lots of runs. Brewers are batting .263 versus right-handed pitching, whereas the Red Sox batting .241. That's over the last 5 games. So not above league average, obviously, for the Red Sox, and then more than above average for the Brewers. Brewers 3.02 ERA over the last 2 weeks in their bullpen. Red Sox 3.56 ERA. So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning to the Red Sox. I don't love it because it's in a 50-50 kind of style game with a pitcher that can give up home runs. I would rather have the underdog. I don't know how much I trust Colin Rea, but the computer model likes it a little bit. Is some value based on this number taking the Brewers. I mean, they are hitting better than, for the most part, than the Red Sox right now, but the Brewers have been inconsistent too. Red Sox just lost their first game yesterday after winning like 5 straight, or 4 straight. So the Red Sox kind of were due maybe for a bad game. They won 4 straight coming into this one, put up 8 or 5+ runs in 4 straight games. So then they fell flat yesterday. Is what it is. I don't know, man. This is a tough one. Part of me thinks that the Red Sox found a way to get this game, but truly a 50-50 game, really, for me, the way I'm looking at this. Like I said, I don't like Rea, though, so it's hard for me to back him. Let's see. I don't know why some places are showing that it's supposed to be Koenig again, but I'm pretty sure he opened yesterday, so I don't know what. Make sure that, I don't know what the Brewers, if they're using him again, because they only used him for an inning yesterday, but maybe they're using him to open for some reason. I'm not really sure. I didn't watch the game, so yeah. As far as anything here, let's see. Willie Abreu usually hits lower in the lineup, so around the 5 spot. So that is somebody you could potentially look at for maybe some RBIs instead. just because if those guys like Devers, O'Neill get on ahead of him, he can potentially knock them in with the double or a single. But he hit 2 RBIs in Tampa Bay back on the 22nd. He's got RBIs in 4 of his last 5 games, but only 2 RBIs once in the last 10. Let's see. But Jarren Duran, I don't really like because he usually leads off, so I'd kind of stay away from leadoff guys, like I said. For the Brewers, Billy Adames had two RBIs yesterday. He's had 2 RBIs twice in the last 10 games, but not batting in. He's only got 5 RBIs altogether over his last 10 games, so not doing a ton like we're used to seeing from him. And then Contreras, he's got multiple RBI games, 4 of his last 10 games. Most of them I'm thinking are coming. Three of those came off home runs. So he's usually, if he's getting 2 RBIs, he's usually coming from a home run. But he can obviously definitely hit Pivetta, so it wouldn't shock me to see Contreras hit a home run again today. All right, let's look at. And then, yeah, that's kind of it. That's all I got really for this one. Devers, let's see. He's had 2 RBIs 3 times in his last 10 games, but he hasn't had an RBI for 3 straight games now, so take that for what it is. He had home runs. He was on that 6-game home run streak where he was just raking. So he's kind of cooled off a little bit. He obviously can always get one in at home. Let's see. I don't think the lineups have been released yet. It doesn't look like it. I don't know if and let's see. Tyler O'Neill might be hitting in the 5 spot today. And then, yeah, William Contreras should be hitting around the 2 spot, so at least that gives him that. He could get a 2-run home run right off the pretty early in the game potentially. So maybe a guy to look at. But, all right, let's keep it moving. Royals Rays here. Royals been a pretty good team this season. People expected a lot from them. They're kind of living up to it. They're 33-19 on the season. They scored 8 runs yesterday, I think they scored eight runs in back-to-back games now. So, or maybe they scored 7 the one before that, but they're rolling along. The Rays have lost 6 of their last 10 games. The Royals have won 8 of the last 10. Between these two teams, the Rays have won 6 of the last 10 meetings, but that was when the Royals were a much different team last season. So right now, the Royals pretty decent. You got Brady Singer going. 1 bad start of his last 5, where he gave up 4 earned runs in 5 innings to the Mariners. But other than that, he's given up 1 earned run in 4 out of 5 starts. Only 1 home run in his last 5 starts. So he's been pretty solid. Whereas Savali on the other side, he's been giving up home runs pretty much every start he goes out. He's surrendering a lot of runs. He's struggling with control and walks. He's got a 5.92 ERA. It's really hard to back Savali right now. And the Rays just not doing a ton offensively. Like their last 5 games outside of that one where they had was an 8-5 game versus the Red Sox, they haven't been scoring more than 1 or 2 runs. So, and you can't score runs, you're not going to win baseball games. So this line does kind of look a little trappy to me, but I don't know. I think it's still got to stick with the Royals. I mean, they're just, I don't know where, check your books, but yesterday the Royals were for like -115 favorites. Today it looks like they're right around +100, -105. The computer model likes the Rays, but I don't really like Savali. So that's my issue here. I don't know, man. Sometimes you just got to stick with the hot team that's proving that they can find ways to win and get runs on the board. The total's at 7.5, and it's juiced to the under, which is interesting considering we've seen high-scoring games. But I have Vinny Pasquantino under 1 strikeout, under a half a strikeout. So hopefully he doesn't get. Hopefully he goes 4 at bats and just make contact on the ball. It's a plus money, but yeah, if I mean, I would stick with the Royals. It might be a trap line just based on them being dogs in this situation. Does kind of seem weird. Brady Singer, he's pitching a little bit above his expected numbers, whereas Savale is pitching out of his expected. So two opposite situations, but Savale not giving up a lot of ground balls. He has a really low ground ball ratio. He's given up lots of hard contact. 1.7 home runs per 9. Yeah, it's one of those games where it's like either you just ride the Royals or you avoid it, because I'm not laying any juice with the Rays and I don't trust their offense right now. So, yeah, I got Pasquantino not to strike out. That was one that I did take. Let's look at any recent guys. Obviously, Tampa Bay, you have no weather issues because it's a closed dome. So it does kind of suck because you don't get any boost either for home runs. But Bobby Witt Jr. has 2 home runs in his last 5 games. He's been coming along after being slow for a bit there. Let's see. Let's see. Michael Massey was pretty good yesterday. I think he hit a home run, or I don't know, 2-run shot. So he's had multiple RBIs in 3 of his last 10 starts, or 3 of his last 10 games. 3 RBIs yesterday. Don't mind looking at a guy like that potentially. Let's see, where is he usually in the lineup? Is he not in the lineup? Oh shit, he's not. Okay, never mind. Looks like he's not in the lineup. Okay. Moving on. So Bobby Witt looks like he's hitting second right behind Garcia. Vinny Pasquantino. Sometimes I don't mind him for RBIs, but he usually doesn't get more than one usually if he gets one. But he does have a 3 RBI game in recent starts. That was back on the 19th. And then Bobby Witt Jr., he had 6 RBIs versus Detroit on the 21st, 2 RBIs on the 22nd, an RBI yesterday. What about Renfroe? He's way at the bottom. Sometimes he gets 2 RBIs, but he has Hunter Renfroe 2 RBI games, two RBI games in his last 10. Salvador Perez only 1 2-run RBI game. So it's too bad Michael Massey's not in the lineup, but it might be because I'm actually not sure why he's not in the lineup, to tell you the truth. And then on the Rays side, I don't really have anybody that I would take because they're not scoring runs. So Nelson Velasquez hitting in the 5 spot. He's sometimes a sneaky guy, but he's unless he hits a 2-run home run, I don't know if he's going to get you 2. All right, let's move on. Like I said, if I had to pick a side, I'm taking the Royals. Yo, cheers, bro. Cheers, man. Thanks for riding along, man. I'm just like I said, I'm trying to Tucker for 2 RBIs, Bregman. Well, that's tough to take two guys in the same game, but it's bold. I like it. Carpenter 2 RBIs, don't mind it at all, hitting the cleanup spot. Adolis Garcia, definitely very live. Pete Alonso, yeah, actually don't mind all of those. The Tucker and Bregman definitely is a little scary because you got to get four runs at least. So that one's obviously the scary one, but don't mind it, honestly. Probably $1 probably pays like $35K or something on that. So don't mind it. It's worth a shot. All right, so we're on this Cubs-Cardinals game. Yesterday was rained out. It was supposed to be Imanaga going. I don't see him being listed as starters. I do have Jameson Taillon here. He's got 2.20 ERA this season, whereas Miles Michaelis looks like he's going to get this start where he was supposed to start yesterday, 5.77 ERA. He's got a 4.97 expected, so he's pitching just above where he would be expected here. He's only got a 17% strikeout rate, so not very good. Tyone on the other side, only a 16% strikeout rate, also not the greatest. Both have about 1.4, 1.5 home runs per 9 innings. Tyone's been limiting his hard hit. That is one thing. He's not getting hard hit a lot. Miles Mikolas usually is can give up hard contact, but the Cubs have won 7 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams. Cubs are on kind of a losing streak right now. They have lost 7 of their last 10 games, whereas the Cardinals have won 8 of their last 10 games. So take that for what it is. The Cardinals are playing better. Tyone has given up home runs in back-to-back starts. He gave up a home run to the Pirates, 3 earned runs in 4 innings, and then gave up 2 home runs to the Braves in 4 innings. So obviously the Cardinals are not the Braves, but Miles Mikolas on the other side gave up a solo home run, went 5 innings versus the Red Sox, got the win. He's gotten wins in 2 straight starts. I mean, the Cardinals are the better team in better form. Cubs are just not hitting the ball very well right now, hitting just 173 over the last 5 games versus righties, whereas the Cardinals are hitting 257. So the battle of 2 pitchers that I don't really love. I've seen Tyone get lit up a lot. So, sorry, I just got a notification on my phone that I was looking at. Yeah, this is one of those games where it's like both teams had the day off yesterday, so it does help to recharge the bullpen. But I have had lots of issues with this Cubs bullpen. Recently, though, their numbers have come back to a bit better than average, 3.13 ERA over the last 2 weeks, whereas it was up over 6 for a while there. So it came back down with that Braves series and a couple of those games there. St. Louis, 3.64 ERA over the last 2 weeks. So both are pretty similar. I kind of think the Cardinals have the edge here. They are playing the better baseball. So I lean to the Cardinals. I liked the Cubs yesterday with Imanaga. Don't really love him as much in this situation with Tyone, especially considering they're not hitting righties well at all right now. Pretty hard to back a team that just can't hit the ball, and is losing games. Let's just do a quick check on the weather here. 80-degree temperatures, not really any wind to really put any too much concern in. St. Louis. Busch Stadium does kind of play like a pitcher ballpark for some reason. I've never been there, so I don't really know what the dynamic is or why it is usually that way, but we can still see home runs. We've seen lots of home runs hit in St. Louis before, so typically a little bit better in July than earlier in the season, but it is still 80 degrees, so the ball can fly for sure. Cubs, Dansby Swanson has a home run in 17 at-bats versus Miles Mikolas, and Patrick Wisdom has a home run in 11 at-bats. Other than that, that's pretty much it for batter versus pitcher matchups. Cody Bellinger was kind of a guy that I was going to, but he's cooled off quite a bit, so it's hard for me to really pick a Cub here. Bellinger was my guy that I was going to on the Cubs for a bit. Obviously, Christopher Morel is dangerous too, but other than that, I don't really like many of the Michael Busch when he was on a run, but now he's cooled off as well, so don't really like anybody there. And the Cardinals, they're not hitting a ton of home runs really either. Nolan Gorman has the most home runs and versus righties. He's got 6, batting 222. Arenado's only got 3. He's batting 290, so Arenado typically makes contact. He's pretty good at doing that. And then Brendan Donovan's got 4. Nolan Gorman, wait, hold on. No, where is it? I already said Gorman. There's Nootbaar, 5 home runs, batting 226 versus righties. So Nootbaar and Gorman are kind of like the top home run hitters on this team. Gorman does have a home run in 4 at-bats versus Jameson Tyone, and Nootbaar has a home run in 6 at-bats versus Tyone. So they've both hit him in limited plate appearances. two guys that I would look at if I was going to take anybody for home runs would be those two. Nootbaar, let's see. He's got 2 RBIs in twice in his last 7 games. He's got 2 home runs in those last 7 games. So Nootbaar could definitely hit a 2-run shot. That's very possible. Let's see, where is he usually? It looks like he's usually hits in the 2 spot, whereas Nolan Gorman usually hitting lower in the lineup. So that is the only thing that's different there. Not a lot of good RBI numbers for these guys. Not a lot of good home run numbers. Seeing a lot of zeros and a lot of red in this matchups. Maybe that's probably why the total's set so low, as these teams aren't hitting home runs. These teams are just like, wouldn't shock me to see a 4-3 kind of sleeper type game here, but I lean to the Cardinals if I was going to take a side. We've seen these games like 3-2. We've seen the 4-3 type games, so wouldn't shock me to see that, especially with the bullpens tightening up a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of it. The Dodgers, the Reds, man, the Dodgers have just been letting everybody down. I said it yesterday on my video. I said Dodgers at -155 is a trap line, and I'm not taking it. I took the team total over there, so they just hit it. But yeah, they lost the game 9-6 yesterday. So they did cover their team total, which is, like I said, that was what I liked about them yesterday, was that I said if they can't score 6 runs in this game, then I don't know what versus Ashcraft. I don't know what to do with this Dodgers team, but they've only won 5 of their last 10 games, so they're 5-5. Cincinnati's 4-6, so they've lost 6 of the last 10, but they won yesterday. Walker Buehler hasn't had the greatest of starts so far since he's been back from injury. His last start was his best one, obviously, but now he's got to face the same team that he just faced in his last start. So he had 7 strikeouts in 6 innings with 3 hits given up to Cincinnati in Dodger Stadium. Fairly good start, obviously, with the strikeout numbers and limiting damage. Only threw 78 pitches, so he's only going about, probably only going to throw around the same amount of pitches again before he gets pulled. Hunter Green on the other side, giving up 2 earned runs in back-to-back starts, just one home run, 13 strikeouts in 13 1/3 innings. When he pitched that game versus the Dodgers, it was a 3-2 Dodgers win, so he limited damage. He did throw. He's thrown 100 pitches or more in back-to-back starts now. The Dodgers struggling kind of right now. Both these teams struggling versus righties. The Reds are hitting 200. Dodgers hitting 227 over the last 5 games. So not what you want to see versus a Dodgers team that usually crushes righties. Hunter Green, 3.22 ERA on the season. 27% K rate. Obviously, the Dodgers are not a huge strikeout team. Some of their power guys, obviously, but this another one where the Dodgers are slight -140, -150 type favorites. I mean, you almost got to fade them out of principle now, but it is hard to do. But Hunter Green hasn't been terrible either, so I mean, don't mind the potential of the look on the Reds, considering the way the Dodgers have been playing. So yeah, I mean, you could definitely make a case for pretty much either side here. The computer model does slightly lean to the Dodgers, but doesn't like it a ton based on the numbers. So obviously the Dodgers are going to be huge public plays again, just like they were yesterday. Everybody sees the Dodgers at -150, and people pretty much auto bet them just because they're so public. But they have lost 3 games in a row, so take that for what it is. Don't really like this line. I just think I could see them absolutely unloading here, but I don't love I think this line should be -170, -180, but the Dodgers aren't playing like it. So Cincinnati, we got 80-ish degree temperatures, 4 to 5 mile an hour winds blowing straight out to center. I could see some home runs in this one. Hopefully, we've seen a high scoring game yesterday. Um, Obviously, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, all dangerous. Freddie Freeman doesn't look like himself really lately, so I don't know if I'd really want to touch him, but let's see. One second, guys. Yeah, I don't know. This total's set at 9. God, that's a tough one. I want to just play the over, really. I think that I kind of lean to the over in that Dodgers Reds game. Um, okay, sorry. I'm just as the game first games were about to start, so I just had to make sure that that play was locked in. Okay, yeah. So sorry, back here. So we'll try to finish this Dodgers game off here quickly. Let's see, Dodgers. All right, so Shohei Ohtani obviously is a guy for RBIs, but he's usually not the greatest numbers, especially in a hitter-friendly ballpark. You're not going to get good numbers with him, so you you can't. I don't know. It's Will Smith has got a RBI is doing RBIs 50s. Let's see, 2, 4, 6 of his last 10 games he has an RBI, but only 2 RBIs once in his last 10. He's got 2 home runs in his last 5. Ellie De La Cruz, I was really high on him. He's slowed down when it comes to hitting home runs lately. He's only got 2 RBIs in his last 10 games, unfortunately. So kind of disappointing for that. Whereas a guy that was doing so well, I thought he was going to be raking. Hopefully he hits a home run. I'd like to see him hit a home run today. But yeah, man, these numbers are not the greatest. Like for a lot of these props and stuff. Will Smith and Shohei Ohtani for RBIs potentially. Spencer Steer, somebody to look at for the Reds. He did have three RBIs yesterday, so you could potentially look at him. This could be like, I don't know. It's hard to face a pitcher again just after you faced them a week ago. It's hard on the pitcher. The batter gets the advantage, right? So I think we could see some runs again in this game. I I kind of lean to the over. I'm hoping for home runs. Dodgers have a 3.57 ERA over the last 2 weeks. The Reds 2.93. So the Reds bullpen has actually been pretty good. All right, Phillies Rockies. Phillies coming into this one big favorites. Oops. Phillies Rockies. I had the Phillies run line yesterday. It was a trap. They for whatever reason they struggle versus the Rockies, especially at Coors Field. So Aaron Nola, Dakota Hudson, Rockies won that game 3-2 yesterday. Wasn't really expecting that, if I'm going to be honest. But so Phillies still have won 8 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams. Phillies have won 8 of their last 10 games overall. Rockies 5-5 in their last 10. So Aaron Nola, he's kind of hit and miss. So sometimes he can get lots of strikeouts, and give up he can pitch he can pitch a complete game and give up and get 8 to 10 strikeouts, or he can give up 2 or 3 home runs in a 6-inning start. So Nola's definitely been hit before. He knows what it's like to get hit. So I mean, the Phillies obviously are going to be really public again because they lost yesterday. Minus 245 favorites. Phillies on the run line is minus 160. Like, that's crazy to me. Dakota Hudson is a heavy ground ball pitcher. He does have a 5.89 ERA on the season and only a 12.6% strikeout rate. So Definitely not what you want to see, but he's got a 58% ground ball rate. So that's the one thing that he does. He induces ground balls pretty well. The Rockies are hitting 213 versus righties. Phillies hitting 250 over the last 5 games. Both these pitchers can give up, 3 to 4 runs per outing kind of thing. Like I said, Nola can go shutout innings, but Nola did give up 2 home runs in 7 innings to the Nationals in his last start. The Dakota Hudson, 4 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, no home runs. So you don't expect a lot from him. This game doesn't really entice me a lot. I mean, there's no way I'm taking the Phillies -1.5, even if they do win this game by 7 runs. I can see them struggling again. Like, they've been hot. There's no way they just keep rolling every single team. I think eventually they got to come back to earth a little bit, which what we seen yesterday, them bats struggling. Harper did get thrown out in the first inning, so maybe that had something to do with it. They lost a big bat there. So maybe he gets revenge and hits a home run today. But the Rockies do play better at home. They find ways to win at home, and they're usually big underdogs. So there is sometimes where you can find value on this team. The Phillies are 4-0 when they are big favorites at this number in this range, in the 225 to 250 range. So take that for what it is. They're 8-2 in Aaron Nola starts, whereas Dakota Hudson is 2-7. The Rockies are 2-7 in his starts. So Rockies are just below 50-50 at home. Kind of was leaning to the Rockies +1.5, but I could see them getting absolutely dusted too. So wouldn't shock me to see Harper hit a home run, potentially two home run shot early. I mean, Dakota Hudson is, he can give up home runs, but he can, like I said, he can also keep the ball on the ground. Usually Harper should be batting in the 3 spot. So if Schwarber or Realmuto, either one of those guys get on before him or both of them, he can hit a double and clear them, or he could hit a home run and get a 3-run shot. So I don't mind Harper honestly don't mind it. We know the Rockies bullpen is capable of giving up a lot. They got a 6.18 ERA over the last 2 weeks. 316 batting average allowed. So, yeah, that's not good. 1.65 home runs per 9 given up from their bullpen the last 2 weeks. So they can definitely get hit once Dakota Hudson comes out. If Dakota Hudson pitches 4 innings of limits runs, the Rockies bullpen can come in and give up 6 pretty easily. So Phillies bullpen has a 2.66 ERA over the last 2 weeks. So been pretty solid. Obviously, the Phillies have the advantage here. If I was going to play the Phillies, I would play the Phillies -2.5 runs just so I didn't have to lay juice. Should be able to get even money there, but don't love it with big favorites like that. Do I think the Phillies win? Probably. Do I want to play a huge favorite like that? No. So, yeah, targeting props here is probably a good bet. Obviously, it's Rockies, it's Colorado, so we can bank on there potentially being runs with the air density the way it is. Temperatures aren't as high as they would be nice. The wind is slightly blowing in. Honestly, I could potentially see this being a nerfy game. Like, it's starting off somewhat slower. It is scary taking any nerfies in Rockies games, especially in Colorado. So I don't know. That one is a little scary, but you'll usually get plus money on it. Whereas Aaron Nola 8-2 no-run first inning record this season. Dakota Hudson 8-1 no-run first inning, including 4-0 at home. So, like I said, he keeps the ball on the ground. So if he can induce ground balls early, this could potentially be a nerfy at plus money. It's going to be later on in the evening, so it'll, depending on if I bet it, we'll see how the day goes. But I kind of lean to the nerfy, honestly, especially with the wind blowing in. That's just a little bit more enticing. But I could also see a friggin' leadoff home run or a home run in the first inning too by Harper, Schwarber, Realmuto, Brian McMahon. Yeah. So, anyways, let's move on. We're an hour and 15 minutes in. First game has started 7 minutes ago, I think. So, Guardians Angels. Yesterday, we seen a lot of home runs hit in this game. In a stream with some other people, I gave out Joe Adell, also David Fry, and then we seen also so those both hit. I wish I would have put them in a same game parlay because I pretty much could have took all four of the guys that I like to hit a home run. I would have cleaned up, man. Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor, Joe Adell, and David Fry. I liked all four of them, but I didn't pull the trigger on Ramirez or Naylor, so I missed out on some good money of playing a same game parlay in this yesterday because man, the ball was flying everywhere. 8 to 10 mile an hour winds blowing straight out to left center, pretty well straight out. Mid 60s temperatures, so pretty nice evening at Angel Stadium. We're seeing a total around 8. Pretty standard for this. Tanner Bybee, 3.93 ERA. Jose Serrano, 3.30 ERA. Both their expected numbers pretty close to where they're at, so they're pitching right around where they're expected to be. Bybee, 25.3% K rate. Soriano, 22%. Soriano is a huge ground ball pitcher this season, 63.8% ground ball rate. That's crazy. Whereas Bybee 38.1, so that's below league average. Bybee 1.2 home runs per 9 with a 9.5% barrel rate, whereas Soriano 0.8 home runs per 9 with a 5.5% barrel rate. So he does have a 44% hard hit rate. So when he's not giving up ground balls, he can definitely give up hard contact and home runs. Guardians have won 6 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams. See, the Angels 5-5 in their last 10. Guardians have been one of the hottest teams in baseball outside of the Phillies. Guardians have quietly won 9 of their last 10 games. Nobody's really been talking about it unless you live in Cleveland, but nobody's really been talking about it. You hear a lot more about the big market teams like the Phillies and the Yankees and stuff like that, whereas Cleveland's kind of been floating under the radar for the most part and rolling along. So they're winning lots of games. You get them. I played them yesterday, and easy winner yesterday. The Angels bullpen is pretty bad. We kind of know that. Where is their numbers here? 4.35 ERA over the last 2 weeks, so has come down. It was up over 6, but little bit better over recently. The Guardians 2.87 ERA in their bullpen in the last 2 weeks. So obviously the Guardians have the bullpen advantage here. I think they have the starting pitching advantage. Guardians do hit lefties much better. When you look at like their last 10 games, they are hitting 231 versus righties, whereas the Angels hitting 244. Angels hitting 249 at home, whereas the Guardians typically hit around 226 on the road versus righties on the season. I think you just got to go back to the Guardians anyway here. Even though they're not hitting righties the greatest, I trust the Guardians and Tanner Bybee and their bullpen more than I do the Angels. So getting them Guardians at small favorites here, a team that's proven to be winning, is probably the way I would go. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really love the Angels trying to find a side to play them on, really. Bybee, his last start, he gave up a home run in 7 innings. That was the only run that he surrendered. He had 8 strikeouts in 7 innings. So if he can deal the strikeouts, he can limit damage for sure versus the Angels. So his last 2 starts haven't been bad at all. Soriano, his last 2 starts haven't been terrible either. He gave up a solo home run to the Rangers. That was the only earned run he gave up in 7 2/3 innings. So I think there's a reason why this total is lower. They maybe are potentially expecting somewhat of a pitcher's duel in this game. I took the Nerfian yesterday, and that was such a bad mistake. But today, Bybee 9-1 to the no-run first inning. Soriano 6-1. He is only 1-1 at home. So take that for what it is. It is a little scary taking the Guardians nerfy, but they didn't score last game, so this might be they're 23-4 on the road to the no-run first inning. 7 of their last 10. Whereas the Angels 17-6, 6 of the last 10. So this might be a spot to look at a nerfy here later on in the evening slate. Now that Renjifo's back, he typically is a little bit like he's kind of a scary hitter at the beginning, in the early lineup because he can hit both. He's a switch hitter. He can usually get on. He can strike out too though. So yeah, let's see. That's the only thing that's kind of scary. But Jose Ramirez, yesterday he had 4 RBIs because he hit 2 home runs, but he's had multiple RBIs in 4 of his last 10 games. 2 home runs yesterday, home runs in 4 of his last 7 games, I think. So Jose Ramirez, definitely a guy that is dangerous. Josh Naylor, obviously, he's kind of cooled off, but he's got 2 home runs in his last 10 games. Hit 1 yesterday, like I said. Let's see. Jose Ramirez should be hitting around the 3 spot. So usually if Freeman and Jimenez get on in front of him, he could potentially get them in. And then even later on in the game, off the bottom of the lineup, coming up to the top. So don't mind that. David Fry's also been pretty solid too. He's had multiple RBIs in 4 of his last 10 games. So he had 2 RBIs. Let's see. 4 of his last 10 games. So he's got 5 RBIs in his last 4 games. So, and he hits in the 5 spot usually. So that could help with, he could be the one to look at for our Kerry Carpenter. Was it first inning? Or was it second inning? I'm assuming it was in the first inning. Yeah, I was worried about that. I friggin' played the nerfy in that game too. I was hoping he was going to get it in the second inning. Oh well, at least check off home run prop, I guess. That's crazy. Hell yeah, let's go. Nice. I wasn't hoping for it to be that early though. I wanted to cash the nerfy at least, but oh well, it is what it is. Cheers, bro. Cheers, man. I wish I would have put a little hedge on that Kerry Carpenter home run prop in the first inning, so I would have cleaned up on that. All right, so yeah, the Guardians-Angels game. I mean, I lean to the Guardians in this one. Yankees-Padres here. Yankees as dogs. I mean, it does kind of make sense. It's still in cease, but the Padres just got shut out, just got absolutely raped. The Yankees hit 4 home runs yesterday off Darvish, who hadn't given up home runs in like forever. So I don't know, man. Trying to fade the Yankees right now is kind of scary. The Padres, I said it on the video yesterday, they struggle at home. They're 10-17 at home. They've won 5 of their last 10 games, so nothing crazy. Yankees have won 8 of their last 10. 6 of the last 10 between these two teams. Now it is Marcus Stroman, who is kind of sometimes so-so. He can give up home runs. We definitely know that. But he hasn't been terrible. His last 2 starts, he gave up 1 home run, which was his only earned run, 13 1/3 innings, 8 strikeouts. So the low strikeout numbers definitely are not great, but he has a 3.05 ERA, same as Dylan Cease. His expected numbers a lot higher, so whereas Dylan Cease's expected numbers are basically right where he is. So he's pitching right where he is, where he expected, whereas Marcus Stroman is kind of pitching above expected. So take that for what it is. But I mean, this Yankees lineup is dangerous, man. They have potential this year. I said for a while, like before, last couple years, I was like, the Yankees have no shot. This year, I don't know if they get Garrett Cole back and they can stay healthy in their rotation in their lineup. They could be a scary team this year to potentially do something in the playoffs. So I don't know, just keep that in mind. But going forward, but they're hard to get in front of right now. Their bullpen has kind of regressed a little bit. ERA up over 5 over the last 2 weeks. So that probably is factoring in a little bit here with this price. But man, the Yankees at plus money is kind of hard to turn down. Stroman has a 54% ground ball rate, whereas Dylan Cease relies more on his strikeouts. He's got a 34.1% barrel or ground ball rate, which is pretty low, where his strikeouts are 31%. So he has the same strikeouts to ground ball rate pretty much. But the Yankees aren't striking out a ton. I mean, we know Soto can strike out. We know Judge can sometimes strike out. Usually it averages per strikeout per game. But, I mean, the Yankees at plus money is just it's pretty hard to pass up. Yankees have shut out opponents. They've put up 13 runs and haven't allowed a run in their last 2 games. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to go against the Yankees right now. Petco Park and Dylan Cease not typically up. I mean, he did give up 2 home runs his last start to the Braves, so he can definitely give up home runs. And I mean, versus the Yankees, I mean, Soto, Judge, Stanton, pick your poison. All of them you can definitely look at. So that's kind of all I got for that one. I lean to the Yankees as a side. I think we could see another. Maybe the Padres put up a few runs today. I think the Yankees could still score 4 or 5 runs again themselves. So it wouldn't surprise me to see an over there. Yeah. So, all right, the Marlins and the D-backs last game of the night for baseball. Sixto Sanchez or Jordan Montgomery, 2 pitchers not in the greatest of forms. Sixto Sanchez, 6.41 ERA. Montgomery, 4.98. So not really the greatest. The D-backs yesterday were just terrible. Let's see. They got shut out 3-0. The Marlins, I think it was Braxton Garrett, he pitched a complete game. So the Marlins didn't have to use their bullpen at all. They've been getting lucky to get complete games out of some of their starters lately, which is what we seen last year. So if they can do that, they have some potential because their bullpen has not been very good. 4.02 ERA over the last 2 weeks. D-backs 3.56 ERA over the last 2 weeks in their bullpen. So D-backs bullpen was a lot worse. It's kind of gotten a little bit better, and so is the Marlins. Jordan Montgomery here. Oh, man, where do I go with this one? The Marlins have won 6 of the last 10 meetings between these 2 teams, and the Marlins have won 7 of the last 10 games really quietly. So after a really bad start to the season, they've quietly been winning games. Sixto Sanchez, though, I don't really trust him a ton. Don't really love his Arizona versus a righty as much as versus lefties, though. So they are hitting a little bit better now. If you look at the recent games, they actually are hitting about 280 versus righties. So getting a little bit better as the season goes on. They hit lefties over 300. So the Marlins, though, hitting lefties at 273 over the last 5 games. Their last 10 games hitting 263 versus lefties. So Marlins aren't doing bad either. Jordan Montgomery's given up contact. He's given up 2, 3, 4 earned runs pretty much every start and not getting a ton of strikeouts. So I could see this being a game where maybe the Marlins get another one. Probably not going to be betting this game right now. It is the late game of the night, but I don't want to lay minus 180 with the D-backs. They did just get shut out yesterday, so maybe they come out and freaking and roll. But yeah, I don't really like it. It's a crazy number for them. That a team that's only won 5 of their last 10 games. It's not like they're higher favorites than the Dodgers versus the Reds. So I mean, take that for what it is. The D-backs are coming little bit more of a public team since last year's playoff run. There is value on the Marlins, but Sixto Sanchez is not a guy I will really want to be backing. So that's my only concern with this one. Who can we? Let's see. Who's going to be good here? All right, D-backs. Let's see. D-backs versus a righty. Jock Peterson, actually, somebody to look at. 309 average with 5 home runs. I don't mind him here and there. Obviously, Arizona, usually not the most home run friendly. It is a dome. I've been in that stadium before, so it's not like usually they have the roof open usually at night. If it's a day game and it's super hot, over 100 degrees in Arizona, then they'll close the roof. But I mean, I'm assuming the roof probably is going to be open for the night game, but it might. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that, obviously. But Christian Walker, obviously another super dangerous guy versus righties. He's got 8 home runs, batting .240. And then Ketel Marte, he doesn't usually hit a ton of home runs. He's more of a pitch to contact type guy. So he does have 3 home runs, batting .260. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is the only D-back that has a home run in his career versus Sanchez, but they've pretty much he's the only one that's really seen him. So three at bats, 1 home run. The Marlins versus a lefty. Not really any home run numbers that stand out. Josh Bell is not terrible, but he doesn't have the greatest average. And then Jazz Chisholm. Chisholm, he hit one in the first inning versus the Brewers. I know because it was the only run scored in that game, and I had the Nerfy and I had the Brewers, and it cost me $13K. So I know that one. So Chisholm could potentially hit Jordan Montgomery or the bullpen. So I think, I got to take I got to take the Marlins here. The D-backs I'm not going to take them. Potentially Chisholm to hit a home run, and then Jock Peterson or Christian Walker would be like the 3 guys. Let's see. It's kind of scary betting any kind of like crazy number stuff when in a game that could be lower scoring too or whatever, but yeah, not really the greatest in numbers. Otto Lopez is actually at the bottom of the lineup. Otto Lopez actually not terrible. He might be in the 7 spot, and if Chisholm and Berger get on in front of him, or Tim Anderson even and Chisholm get on in front of him, he could potentially get 2 RBIs. He had 2 RBIs yesterday. Him to get an RBI is plus 200 just for 1. So he's got 2 RBIs in 4 of his last 10 games. So I don't know. Otto Lopez might be a guy to look at. He's hitting at the bottom of the lineup, so obviously you're not going to get as many chances with it. But if like I said, if Tim Anderson, Jazz Chisholm, Jake Berger, if those guys get on in front of him, he could bring them in with a single even. So I don't know. He's not a bad look. He's got a .263 average versus left-handed pitchers. Not hitting home runs. Only 2 RBIs, but he's only had 19 at bats. So that's not a ton of data. He's just gotten going though. Keep seeing his name on the stat sheets. So maybe a guy to look at is Otto Lopez for the Marlins. Might have to. I might be putting him in this later on. And as far as that goes, oh man, that's crazy. I can't. Let's see. Yeah, honestly, wouldn't shock me. I kind of lean to the Marlins too. I'm not laying -180 or -190 with the D-backs. So yeah, I'm kind of with you, bro. I think that it's Marlins or pass for me if I was going to take a side for sure. But yeah, Otto Lopez, I don't mind him. And then Christian Walker or Jock Peterson potentially. Christian Walker, he's got RBIs in three of his last 5 games. Not hitting a ton. The D-backs not very. Jock Peterson, though, he has an RBI in 4 of his last 5 games. 3 RBIs versus the Dodgers. I think he hit a home run in that game. 2 RBIs versus the Tigers at home. So Jock Peterson is somebody that can get it. If he hits a 2-run home run, obviously he's going to get that too. But yeah, that's kind of it. That's all I got for that. I can't believe that nerfy, but at least Carpenter hit already. That's good. I did put the Tigers in as the parlay too. All right, so let's see. We went. It's kind of leaning White Sox plus 1.5. That Twins Rangers game was 50-50. The Nationals I was leaning to as a dog. Astros I think probably win again. Royals line is a little sketchy, but I think they win. Brewers at plus money right now is definitely enticing. Cardinals are playing a better baseball as Cubs, so it's kind of going that way. And the Rockies-Phillies game, man, that's a tough one. Yeah, I don't know. And then the Dodgers-Reds, leaning to the over in that game. And then got to go with the Guardians again. Lean to the Yankees at plus money and the Marlins. As far as like home runs, let's see. Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia for the Rangers, Kyle Tucker for the Astros. You can look at pretty much anybody when it comes to Astros hitters. Don't mind Devers, Contreras, Tyler O'Neill for the Red Sox Brewers game. And the Dodgers Reds game, obviously Ohtani and Betts are always live. Will Smith potentially. I'm hoping to see Ellie De La Cruz hit one today, but he's been very cold as far as home run hitting. He does hit righties better, so maybe he can get one. But other than that, it's like guys like Spencer Steer and Will Benson not been terrible. Heimer Candelario's not been terrible either. And the Phillies Rockies, if I was going to take a Rocky, it would be Ryan McMahon. If I was going to take some Phillies, I think Bryce Harper will probably get some revenge from yesterday. He got thrown out early in the first inning, so potentially those two guys. In the Yankees-Padres game, Soto, Judge, very dangerous, obviously. If I was going to take a Padre, it's probably Tatis, even though he hasn't been hitting home runs lately. He's probably the only one I trust really versus a righty, right? Maybe Profar or Cronenworth, but I don't know. It wouldn't shock me to see not a ton of home runs hit from the Padres. I also was looking at Matt Chapman and Pete Alonso too. That game's looking like it should be starting right now. All right. Okay, so I'm still trying to do this. All right, we're an hour and 40 minutes in. Yeah, man, let's go. Let's try. I'm trying to get rich today. You know it. All right, I don't have a graphic for the NBA game. I typically don't bet NBA a ton, but in the playoffs you can kind of find edges. But if Tyrese Halliburton is out for the Pacers, I think the Pacers are probably cooked. But yeah, 2 outs in the bottom of the first, and you hit a home run. It does suck when you lose Nerfy that way, but I shouldn't have put as much money on that one as I did. Good old Jose Barrios. Anyways, let's look at the Oilers and the Dallas Stars game here. Man, this Oilers team, they played really well in that first game. Holy, I was not expecting that. The Oilers usually don't play 60 minutes of solid hockey, plus going into overtime, playing an extra 20 minutes. McDavid was kind of I think he's injured, so I think he's not playing 100%, but he missed a couple chances, and then he finally buried it, got the win. They needed that big time. This game, if the Oilers win this game, that'll be a huge boost for them coming back home to the home crowd. So this is going to be a game that tells how the series is going to go. If the Stars even it up, we could see it go back and forth like we did with the Vancouver series. If Edmonton takes the lead, they're gonna have the Stars on the ropes, so and have a little bit of breathing room. That it could be dangerous. This one, I think I haven't even looked at the lines yet for this game. It starts in like 6 hours, but you're seeing Dallas as a favorite. It's not really a shock. They have the somewhat the advantage when it comes to goaltending. Adam Henrique is still out for the Oilers, I believe. And I don't know what the status on Corey Perry is, but the third and fourth line guys actually started to they were contributing. They were actually winning battles, getting pucks. Um, other than the Oilers taking a bajillion penalties, they played pretty good. And the refs calling kind of some soft penalties, really, but I think that's no surprise. We'll probably see that again tonight. Wouldn't shock me to see a lot of soft penalties being called on the Oilers. In my opinion, I don't think Gary Bettman wants the Oilers to be going into the West or into the Stanley Cup Finals. That's just my opinion. I just don't think he really wants any more attention going to Canadian teams. He wants to build his American fan base more and more. And Dallas has a pretty high fan base for sports. So it's a big sports state. So you got the Mavericks in the probably, I don't know, honestly, I think the Mavericks probably win it all. But you got the Mavericks, you got the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference Final. And then you got obviously the Cowboys, which can't seem to win a championship to save their lives. But so you got two teams in playoff battles for trying to get to, potentials of winning series or winning championships and bringing them back to Texas. That's big for the state of Texas. So it's also big for that region for bringing in money to the league and stuff, right? And extra fans and whatnot. So Canada's already got tons of fans. Edmonton's got lots of fans, so they don't need to make any more money. They make enough money. But so that is kind of my opinion on that. It might be a little controversial or whatever, but that's just the way I see it from watching hockey for my whole life, 28 years since I was old enough to watch. Well, I'm 32 now, so I will be right away. I've watched hockey since I was old enough to understand what it was. So I've watched the Oilers all my life. So I am a little biased when it comes to this team, just because I'm a little bit of a homer. But this is a kind of a 50-50 game for me, really. So I mean, it's hard not to take the plus money with the Oilers, who know that they have a big edge. I mean, I've been watching interviews and stuff. I mean, I know how this team interacts and their lineups and stuff like that. So that's kind of the advantage with me in this situation, is I know this team pretty well, but they are also have a hard time holding on to leads. We've seen it in game 1, 2-goal lead, blew it away. They almost lost that game then when they shouldn't have. And they just didn't get it. They only had one power play the whole game, so they couldn't get their power play going, which is lethal. If the Stars know if they stay out of the penalty box, it's going to be hard for the Oilers to put up goals like they normally do, because that's where they do their damage. So that is one thing. If the Oilers are killing penalties like they were in the first game, it's going to be tough for them. Adam Henrique still on the day-to-day injury. Maybe Corey Perry's not even in the lineup now because of the Carrick call-up. So I don't even see him on the roster. So looks like they're going to probably go with Nuge, McDavid, and Hyman on the first line again. It worked last game. Holloway, Draisaitl, and Kane on the second line worked pretty well. As long as they play like they did in the first game, I think they could win this game. So it is pretty enticing trying to take the plus money with the Oilers. Last game, I bet Draisaitl and Hyman to score, as well as, what was it, Wyatt Johnston and I can't remember who else it was. I think it was Duchesne. So obviously it didn't hit. It was Sagoon and I can't remember who it was. Sagoon both scored both goals, actually, I think. So obviously didn't hit that one, but Sagoon doing third line stuff. So yeah, this one's a homer pick for me. It's just too good to pass up. Edmonton at plus money. Would it shock me to see Dallas win this game? Absolutely not. So I just don't want to lay juice with the Stars. So this game, I can't really give you an unbiased opinion because I could see it going either way, and it's hard to take out to avoid the puck to give up plus money here, but the Stars will be fighting. They'll be giving it everything they got to make this a 1-1 series because they don't want to go back to Edmonton down 0-2. So it'll look for some intensity, could force the Oilers to make some mistakes. The Oilers are bad at giving away the puck. The one thing they do is those backhand passes with no look backhand passes, and they end up giving the puck away a lot. Bouchard is bad for it. Some of the guys do it in the corner too, and they ends up doing odd man rushes and stuff. It's just dumb. But so that is one thing. And like I said, they can't seem to hold leads half the time. So if Edmonton's up late in the game, you could probably potentially bet Dallas live as underdogs in this game, because wouldn't shock me to see the Oilers have a lead and blow it. So that's kind of all I got. As far as the total, 5.5 or 6, I think is pretty efficient. We've seen a 2-2 game. Very well could have been, that game could have ended 2-1, could have ended even 2-0. But 3-2, not really out of the realm of what the potential score for this game could be too. Dallas typically more of an under team. Edmonton plays to the over when they get lots of power plays. If they're not getting the power plays, their 5-on-5 numbers just aren't as good. So yeah, that's kind of, let's see. All right. So yeah, these two teams head to head, 5-5 in their last 10 games. So they pretty much alternate wins and losses. They went to overtime in 2 of the last 3 meetings now. The last time Edmonton won, then Dallas bounced back, won 5-0. And then, yes, we've seen the game 1. Obviously, we've seen what happens. So we've kind of seen alternate wins, but Dallas has won 2. Edmonton has won. Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me to see Dallas win this game. The way that they kind of play, they kind of alternate wins and losses. So yeah. As far as goal scorers and stuff like that, I've got to go back to Draisaitl. He's like my go-to guy on the Oilers right now. I can't back McDavid very often to score a goal just because he's not shooting the puck a lot. He did score last game, but I mean, he was wide open. So if he didn't score that, I mean, obviously it was a tough shot, but if he didn't get that one, he was going to be kicking himself. So don't mind Draisaitl again. And as far as Dallas, I mean, you can kind of take your pick. Like Sagan was gotten in the puck last time, but a potential maybe Stankoven, but it's a very long shot. He's up on the first line now, or he was on the first line last game too, but he's got 3 goals in his last 5 games, I think. Not a ton of shots, but he's still getting 17 minutes a game. So that could be a guy to look at as like an outlier. But yeah, I'm probably going to be on Draisaitl in this one. And I don't know. I didn't bet the Oilers in game 1, and I wish I would have, but you can't dwell on any of that because that's a bad mindset to have, right? So Draisaitl plus 145 to score. I would rather take that than play the Oilers money line myself, because Draisaitl could get one down in the corner in the first period. So you get better odds on that. Draisaitl's been he's been the hottest goal scorer in the playoffs. So Draisaitl, Sagan is plus 275 to score. Holy. Jason Robertson plus 190. Robertson was taking some shots. Skinner was just stopping everything. So that game could have been a lot different. Skinner he stopped some pretty high danger chances. Another long shot, Evan Bouchard at plus 375. Obviously, if he can get that one through, you got to watch out for the bombs coming from the point. He can definitely score. He's been putting up points. Stankoven at plus 400, plus 450 area, don't mind. And then if I was going to take a long shot for the Oilers, it would be Dylan Holloway. I don't think he's scored yet in the playoffs, but he scored one. He scored one in the Vancouver series on that breakaway. But Dylan Holloway at like plus 700, plus 750. He's playing on the second line with Draisaitl. He's getting up in mixing in with McDavid at times too. He's had some good chances. He's eager to get the puck. So, I mean, I don't know, like he could be a guy, a long shot that could get a goal. So I don't mind a couple of those looks. He does only have one goal, like I said, that one goal in the Vancouver series, but he has 10 shots in his last 5 games. So that's more than Nuge. That's almost as many as McDavid. So yeah, he's trying. Other than that, don't really have anything else. The one thing with Holloway is he's not on the penalty kill. I thought he was on the second penalty kill, but he doesn't look like he is. Yeah, so that's all right. I don't usually like playing as many goal scorers when you have that play on the penalty kill. Like that's why I don't usually play Nuge very often, because he spends so much time killing penalties if they're taking lots of penalties. Especially like I said last game, they took 5, 6, 7, whatever it was. It seemed like they were on the penalty kill for half the game. So I don't usually like taking guys that have to spend half their time on the ice killing penalties. But Dylan Holloway as a super long shot goal scorer is very live, I think. And yeah, Draisaitl, and then I don't know. You could pretty much take a pick and roll the dice if you wanted to pick the Dallas Stars goal scorer, but Seguin at plus 275 is definitely enticing. This game doesn't start for 6 hours, so I'll probably look into it a little bit more. But if I was gonna do the same game parlay, it would either be the same one that I put in a game one, or it would be Draisaitl, Holloway, and Seguin and Robertson, maybe. It's like plus 19,000, plus 20,000. It's the same game parlay, obviously, super long shot. Gonna wait and see if they give me a boost on this. Sometimes they do with Oilers games, but yeah, I don't know, just something to put $10 on or whatever to make the game interesting. And if it hits, you make $2,000 or whatever. But all right, this stream ended up going a little bit longer than I thought, but I mean, I also knew it was going to go long because that's usually what happens. I end up ranting and talking about everything and breaking everything down. So that's kind of all I got for today. We got lots to go. Lots of the baseball games don't start for a bit still. So yeah, let's try to make some money here. Giants Mets game, of course, went no run first inning, and the next 2 innings went no run. No run scored in the Jays Tigers. So wouldn't shock me to see that limit runs there. Next game starts in 15 minutes. We got 2 games starting in 15 minutes. Orioles White Sox. I was kind of leaning to the Nerfy in that one. My only concern was Suarez where is he? He's 3-0 on the season. Fede's 9-2 and 6-0 at home. So might have to play the Orioles White Sox Nerfy as a try to see if I can get back as a get back. I was going to look at the Rangers Twins Nerfy, but I don't know if I have the stomach for it. Lorenzen 7-1 in his 8 starts to the Nerfy. Chris Paddock 7-2, 4-1 at home. Could be one that she might not be terrible, just due to the way that the Twins and the Tigers are not scoring a ton of runs, limiting home runs somewhat. So two Nerfies maybe potentially for these next 2 games that start in 15 minutes. I would lean to the Nerfy in both of the games before I went to the Yerfy, but the White Sox and the Orioles on the road have been absolute cash cow when it comes to Nerfies. So the Twins game, the the wind is kind of blowing out. So that's the only thing that is concerning with taking a Nerfy there. But yeah, that's kind of all I got. Good luck today, y'all. Thanks for joining me. Capo, shout out. Thanks for interacting, bro. And yeah, anybody else that that came here and watched, there was 25 or 30 people in here. So yeah, enjoy your guys' Saturday. Let's try to break the books today, make some money, and good luck with whatever you're betting on. Bet responsibly. Let's have some fun. Let's make some money, and I'll see you guys next time, or yeah, next stream or next video, whatever. And have a good one. Enjoy your Saturday. Peace.